It's the moment we've all been waiting for. SEC football, ACC football, and Big 12 football, all on the same day. Get ready. It's Gameday Pick'ems on Heisman Talk. Here's your host, Debonair D Jackson and the Nate Dog. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first ever Heisman Talk Saturday preview show. D, we've taken off a few weeks, but this weekend we're back and we're ready to talk college football like we've never talked before. How have you been?
I've been good, man. I'm ready to get this thing started. I'm excited, for the SEC, starting up this weekend. So we're gonna see how it plays out.
Absolutely. So, as everyone knows, the SEC starts today. Along with that, the Big 12 will start their first in-conference games of the season. Obviously, we'd like to report some news first. The Big 10 has opted back into the season. They will start, I believe, October 26th. And yesterday we found out that the Pac-12 will be entering the season with a 7-game season starting in November. And I wanted to talk to you about it for a quick minute. What's your take on this? Obviously we know the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 have already started. Well, the SEC is starting today, but, the Big 10 and the Pac-12 are looking to make a push for the championship this year. How does it affect everything, D?
I think it'll affect it vastly. With the Big Ten starting in October, they get a slate of, what was it, 9 games? Was it 8 or 9 games?
That's correct.
So it'll be interesting to see how the College Football Playoff Committee looks at their games compared to the SEC's games. I think we can all say that the SEC is a stronger football conference, and so with everybody playing only in conference games, I think that would be an interesting interesting perspective that we'll get from the College Football Playoff Committee. On the Pac-12, it's a little late in the game. It's cool that they're coming back and playing football, but November start, I think that kind of wipes them out from playing in the College Football Playoff. The College Football Playoff will start the next month, so that'll kind of be difficult. But we'll see how it plays into everything.
Absolutely. And, I think when you talk Big 10 and Pac-12, you think of two factors right away. For one, the ACC, SEC, and Big 12, by starting early, have built in a few bye weeks if something were to happen due to COVID-19. But when you look at the Big 10 and the Pac-12, they don't have any room for error. I mean, they're rolling all the dice. So that, on one hand, you've got that situation, right? On the other hand, you've kind of got a disadvantage for the teams that have already been playing. When you look at the Pac-12 only playing 7 games, and then you look at the Big 10 playing, I think you said 8 or 9 games, these other teams have been playing 10 or 11 games. And you have to wonder if, that's going to play into effect with the playoff committee. I mean, and granted, some of these games might not be the best ranked games, but you have to think that plays into it a little bit, D.
Agreed, man. Like I said, this is just kind of a watch and see or wait and see type of thing. We're going to have to see how the committee looks at each conference. And, with COVID and everything going on, I think maybe they'll give a little bit of leeway, to these conferences, on starting late. We'll just have to see. So it's, we'll have to see how it goes.
Absolutely. So without further ado, D, let's dive into some of these games that are slated out today. First off, we're going to start off with Louisville versus Pitt. Now, Louisville comes off of a very disappointing loss to Miami last Saturday. The scoreboard really didn't reflect what Miami was able to do against that Louisville defense. Pitt comes in looking to build off of momentum after a 2-0 start. Obviously, Pitt's ranked by 3. This is a 12 o'clock kickoff on ACC Network. D, who do you have winning this game?
I have Pitt winning this game. And the reason is because of defense, man. They held Syracuse, a pretty decent Syracuse team, to 10 points. They had a good defense last year. Unfortunately, they don't have one of their best defensive linemen playing, this season. He opted out. But they're still a good defense, and I really think that they'll be able to shut down a pretty good quarterback in Malik Cunningham. He's going to really have to push the ball down the field this game if Louisville wants to win, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I'm going to go with Pitt to win.
So we're already going to disagree on the first pick, D. Great pick if Jalen Twyman's playing for Pitt. But today, I'm going with the Louisville Cardinals. D, I think after losing in a tough loss to Miami last week, I think the Cardinals are ready to bounce back. I'm giving Louisville the win by 3.
Wow. Wow. I like that.
So then we go to our next game of the day, and that's West Virginia versus Oklahoma State. Now, we haven't really seen much from the Big 12 yet this season. Obviously, Oklahoma State struggled last week against Tulsa. Probably should have lost that game. West Virginia, on the other hand, has an easy start to the season. They're 1-0. Oklahoma State's favored by 7. D, who do you have winning this game?
I have Oklahoma State winning this game. I think they're, like I said, favored by 7 points or so. So I think it'll be a tight contest. I just think star power will win out at the end. West Virginia, really hasn't been tested. And I think with Oklahoma State, even though they had a close game with Tulsa, I think that, Shane, the quarterback that's coming in, the freshman quarterback, I think he'll provide a spark, like you were, talking about. And, I think with Chuba, Hubbard and Tylan Wallace, I think that they'll end up beating Oklahoma State.
Great pick, D.
Beating West Virginia, sorry.
No, you're good. Great pick, D. Great pick. Hey, I tell you what, we were talking behind the scenes before the season, and everyone was so hype on this Spencer Sanders guy. Well, he goes down, and I've been talking about this Shane Illingworth kid for a few weeks now, and I tell you what, he comes into the game, Oklahoma State's struggling against a Tulsa team that was very depleted, and Shane Illingworth goes down the field, 3 for 3, 79 yards, and tops it off with a rushing touchdown for 3 yards, I believe, from Hubbard. I'll tell you what, this Oklahoma State team is going to be thriving this week. I have them winning big by 21 points, not even close.
Wow. Wow. That would be a big-time win. I think with Oklahoma State, with them struggling against Tulsa, I think they might have been looking, forward to playing West Virginia this week. So I definitely think they'll come out and win. I don't know if the margin of victory will be 21 points, but like you said, the quarterback that you mentioned, the freshman quarterback, he came in and he did his thing. And so, if he does the same this week, I think they'll definitely, win. So.
Absolutely. So then we go to a game that's not really recognized by many, and that's Army versus Cincinnati. This is a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN. D, we don't really know too much about both of these teams. We know that obviously Army runs the triple option. They struggled last year with Navy kind of taking the realm in the Independence Conference. Army looks to get back. They start off the season 2-0. They're finally back within the top 25 rankings. But they go on the road to a tough Cincinnati team who has found much success in the past few years. D, who do you have winning this game?
I'm going to go with the Bearcats. I'm going to go with Cincinnati, man. Like you said, they're a tough team, They're always a tough team. They always look tough because they have these, all black jerseys, and so they they look really, really tough. But, I like you said, we don't know too much about them yet, but I think that I don't think Army's a very good team this year, so I think that Cincinnati will end up taking this game.
A great pick, D. Great pick. I'm going with the Bearcats as well. Cincinnati by 14. So then we go to the game that we have all been waiting for. That is Kentucky versus Auburn, our game of the week. Obviously, other sports networks have Miami and Florida State as their game of the week. But D, this is a game that has been flying under the radar for ever since the schedule came out a few weeks ago. But, this Kentucky team could be as good as they were 3 years ago when they lost to Georgia in that final game right before the SEC East Championship. D, who do you have winning this game? Who's going to come out and make the biggest impact in the SEC to start out this week?
Shockingly, in this game, I was flipping back and forth. I'd have Kentucky winning and I have Auburn winning. I came to the result of Auburn winning the game just because of Sheer talent, I think their talent is above Kentucky's. Kentucky's a well-coached team. They play, pretty good defense. They played good defense last year. And so if they're able to bring that defense, they might have a chance at beating Auburn, but I just think Auburn has too much with Bo Nix. He's a special talent, and you have receivers like Seth Williams and Anthony Schwartz, the speedster. So I just think, even with, Auburn replacing all they have to replace, I got to go with Auburn for the game of the week.
And you bring up some good points, D. You've got a Kentucky team that literally had, I think they won, 7 or 8 games with a wide receiver as their starting quarterback last year. This year they bring back Terry Wilson, who thrived a few years ago before getting injured last year, obviously taking off the season to recover. I heard in an interview recently, D, that he's looking to come back stronger than ever, and I believe he will. But I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the Auburn Tigers are just too strong for the Wildcats in this game. But look for it to be a lot closer than most probably think. Auburn's favored by 7.5. Look for this to come down to the field goal kickers. I think this could be a 3 or 4 point game in the end.
Yeah, I think for Kentucky, it all depends on the play of Terry Wilson. And, he missed all of last year, with that ACL. So it all is on him and how he's improved as a passer. That's the big, big key for Kentucky. And I just think Auburn has, really good linebackers. They're going to replace a lot in the D line and in the secondary, but I think they're still going to have a good defense, and their offense is going to be probably much better, with Chad Morris, at the helm. So.
Absolutely. You mentioned Chad Morris. Chad Morris is going to make a huge impact with Gus Malzahn. That combination together, like I told you the other day, is like the best Ben and Jerry's ice cream out there. He's got the cookie dough, the fudge, the chocolate chips, everything. It's all mixed together, and it's going to formulate one beautiful offense.
Agreed. Ben and Jerry's.
No, we're not sponsored. But if you want to, let us know. But no. Okay, so D, we've gone through our picks now, but what game are you most looking forward to this week?
This week, I'm most looking forward to watching the Arkansas and UGA game. The reasons are because, Sam Pittman was, the former offensive line coach under Kirby Smart, for numerous years. And so, I think it's a really, really intriguing matchup. You have a transfer quarterback in Felipe Franks who came from Florida, and now he's at Arkansas. And so you're trying to figure out, exactly how they're going to run their offense with him, and so I just think it's a really, really interesting matchup. You have like I said, the former offensive line coach going up against his old team, his old coach that hired him. So I think it'll be, really, really cool and exciting to watch that matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're looking at the head coach and the starting quarterback have both know the Georgia football team very well. I mean, Felipe Franks obviously transferred over from Florida. He played versus Georgia past 2 or 3 years. Obviously, you said Sam Pittman coaching for Georgia as the O-line coach. But I'll be most interested to see how Kendall Briles implements his offense there. We mentioned him before in our previous videos of him coaching with Baylor for the last 3 years. You saw what he did there, coaching under Lane Kiffin at FAU back in 2017. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a very intriguing matchup. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Georgia's just way too talented. I really wish that we would have had a full off season. I think this game would be a lot more interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a great game to watch, and make sure you tune in at 4 p.m. on SEC Network for that game for sure. D, my game of the week, my most intriguing game of the week is gonna be Mississippi State versus LSU. I'm ready to see this WWE matchup between Coach O and Mike Leach. Everyone talks about Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin facing off later on in the season, but D, when you got two heavyweights like Mike Leach with the air raid offense and Coach O coming off of a national championship, it's going to be interesting to see how Coach O responds. He's got only 5 returning starters. He has to replace both coordinators. And then you got a guy like Mike Leach on the other side of the sidelines, who's going to bring his air raid offense to the SEC for the first time with transfer quarterback KJ Costello from Stanford. So, to me, that's why this matchup is the game of the week that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that's a very intriguing matchup too. Like you said, KJ Costello, Mike Leach, that's going to be really, really interesting to see. I think we're going to have to really keep an eye on Mississippi State this year and see how the air raid offense is transferring to the SEC, because the SEC is known for a physical, defensive style. And so he's bringing this West Coast type of offense, air raid, spreading it out. To the SEC. So I think that's an interesting game. And Coach Orgeron, they have usually really good defenses. They still have the best cornerback probably I've ever seen on the college football level in Derek Stingley.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how he fares against the air raid as well.
Yeah, it's going to be such an exciting weekend. D, we've been looking forward to this weekend for a very long time. Obviously, we've enjoyed the past 2 weeks of college football, but this week it looks like there's going to be some serious matchups. Well, we really appreciate y'all joining our show today. We hope that you enjoy the amount of games, the amount of matchups that we have today. Be sure to check us out next Monday, as we'll be starting our first recap show of the year, so you won't want to miss that. Also, be sure to head over to HeismanTalks.blog to check out some of our latest hot topics in all of college football. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you on Monday. Make sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and as always, this is Natedogg and D signing off.